Okay, what's up, everyone? Welcome to this December developer community call of MetaMask. We're super excited to be here. I'm here with Sushmita. You want to quickly introduce yourself, or I think we're doing the intro, but yeah, you're getting famous, Sushmita.
I'm truly happy to be here, and I'm honored.
Nice, nice. No, that's so exciting. We have a lot of things to cover. I think like we came back from DEF CON. We have a bunch of hackathon. We run different hackathons. We run different events. We're even like doing the virtual hackathon all the time. And we have so many things that we want to update the team. We have also a bunch of insights from the team, things that we've been shipping. And yeah, and we have only like 1 hour. So let's get it started. Yeah, for anybody that doesn't know me, I'm Francesco. I'm part of the dev team. I'm super excited to be here. And yeah, let's get it started. And everybody kind of like already met me a little bit everywhere. But Sushmita, you want to quickly introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Sushmita. I think the best way to describe myself is I'm currently a DevRel engineer at the DevRel team. I've been at Consensus over 1.5 years, like almost 2 years, and I started my Web2 journey like 3 years ago. And
Nice,
yeah, my hobby includes anime and cats, so that's just
nice.
obvious.
Nice. Next time we need to see like some picture of the anime and cats, kind of like just really like that would be cool. Awesome. Okay, cool. So we have a lot of things to do. So let's quickly like run through the agenda a little bit. So we will start with a quick intro, also like a quick recap around like iPhone specifically, and then we have a bunch of like guests and kind of like internal MetaMask folks that we want to kind of like show you guys and what we've been shipping during the past time. So Christian will kind of touch on the Starknet for Dapps that will actually super be interesting. Then we have one of the winner team of Edge City Hackathon, who is up. I really love the title since the start. So for any context, like so, Edge Lana was this hackathon that happened before DEF CON was this long 1 month like pop-up city, and part of that was also this hackathon that we were there, where we were active with the delegation toolkit bounty, and yeah, and for anybody who doesn't know the Relation Toolkit, like we did a couple of presentation in the previous like developer community calls, and you will see a bunch of like things from like theory and implementation, and always like feel free to reach out. We are writing right now different tutorials, different like repos that people can just fork it and take it from there. And then who else? You want to quickly like go through Sushmita or let me know.
Currently, I don't have anything else to add to the agenda, but let's get
Nice, nice.
started.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Yeah, let's get started. And then obviously we have the big Daniel Lynch. He will speak a little bit about our US pilot expansion on the MetaMask card, and then also like on the Snap side we have Richard running us through the Cardano wallet Snap, and that's actually super exciting. I think a bunch of more people are using like the non-EVM compatible snaps, and there is a bunch of like good things that we want to update. Okay, so let's get it started. And so quick like context about this developer community calls that we're running with MetaMask, right? So the goal really here is to show people, not kind of like telling whatever we're building. We want to kind of like bring and highlight great ecosystem partners, bringing who are really the responsible for shipping like internal updates, and also really present to everyone, right? And I think the big part also like of this MetaMask dev committee calls is bringing like also in those calls like hackathon winners or people that are really like distinguish themselves building during that the past months, right? And I think we have a lot of like backlog in terms of kind of like programming, but we really care about giving like a place where developers and builders in a space can actually show what they're building in front of everyone, right? So it's not just an aerial activity, but it's also like showing to the world, to all the MetaMask ecosystem, because all these calls are also being amplified through all our channels. And then, cadence, trying to get those calls every month so that people can expect like different updates from ourselves, but also from all the community, right? And also like updating like what is happening next, what happens before, and different like things around how we engage with the developer community today and with all the users and partners and ecosystem like community. Okay, sounds good. Quickly, like run through like like DEFCON, let's say your recap, right? We did different things. We want to highlight two things. Yusuf Schmidt, you have also like involved. That was actually like super cool. I want to start with the ETH Global Bangkok. I think this was one of the biggest like ETH Global that we ever participated. I think like what like 1,800, almost 2,000 people were around. And you have been judging Sushmita, like any highlights of the hackathon that you had during that the period.
I think the sheer amount of projects that was built on
Hmm. Hmm.
MetaMask and using SDK and like
Nice.
deploying on Linea was really high, and like it's
Yes.
just really amazing to see like so many new ideas and amazing projects going on.
Nice.
I really had fun judging during that
Nice,
time.
nice, nice. Yeah, we had also like last was actually like the November Lina developer community calls. We have Dak Homomorphic, the team that presented his build and was actually quite interesting because it was like those really like brain really building during the past like 48 hours. Okay, sounds good. And then we had ETH Global was this 48 hours long hackathon, and then we had all the builder nights that happens during that was actually like post DEFCON, but was actually quite good. We did like a different panels. We focus, as everybody kind of like remember, on kind of like verticals, and we span from like staking, restaking. We did also a developer tooling like panel, and the highlight was also that we had Joe as a small fireside chat speaking about how he really see kind of like the future of like building the tooling, how decentralization kind of like is happening around our eyes, and how what kind of like is our role, not just as a company but also like as an ecosystem driver running this narrative. And it was actually quite good. We jumped. There were a lot of like participants, a lot of great discussion. I think was one of the biggest also like builder nights that we ever did, and we ran almost like 22 by now, and that was quite excited to actually see the amount and the engagement of people, how people were excited to speak about those topics, and also like debate stuff from like architecture mechanism to kind of like designs to how actually make our space better, and during that phase, obviously building. Okay, sounds good. So I would say let's get it started. Let's invite on stage Christian, and let's get it started with this Starknet for Dapps. So how are you, Christian?
I'm doing great, thank you.
Nice. Thanks for joining. I think like you are one of the most like I think like frequent joiners of the MetaMask developer community calls. You have always some interesting updates, and yeah, I'm looking forward to the Starnet for Dapps updates. And yeah, you want to quickly introduce yourself? You want to share your screen? Should I share the screen? What do you
Oh,
prefer?
I'll share my screen, yeah, because I'll have a couple tabs to go through.
Nice,
So I think you
nice.
can see my screen now,
We
and
can
you
see
can
it.
see the same slide.
We can
Okay,
see it.
yeah, so I'll introduce myself. So I'm a product lead at MetaMask. I've been using Ethereum since 2016, actually, which sounds pretty crazy to say that now. I love to build snaps, and I'll tell you more about what those are. I also sometimes explore Bitcoin and Solana too. I'm not, afraid to admit that. So yeah, I think I'll dive in. I want to have a lot to cover in the next like 10 minutes. So yeah, I'm going to introduce this new opportunity for Starknet dApps to be able to connect to MetaMask. For those of you who don't know, Starknet is an Ethereum layer 2 network, but it's different from other Ethereum networks. It's not EVM compatible. So I know you might be wondering what that means, but essentially it has a different smart contract language and a different address format from EVM chains like Linea and Base, for example. So until recently, it was not possible to use Starknet with MetaMask until we built a Starknet snap. So the Starknet snap actually allows you to connect to Starknet and now allows dApps to connect to Starknet as well. So for those of you who don't know, I'll also explain what are snaps. Snaps are add-ons for MetaMask that supercharge the wallet experience with new features. And so the Starknet snap adds all the necessary functionality that MetaMask needs to be compatible with Starknet. So it adds Starknet as a chain to MetaMask and makes it work with MetaMask. And now the big announcement that we're sharing today, and that we're really excited to talk about, is that dApps can connect to Starknet via MetaMask easily with the standard libraries that dApps use to connect to Starknet wallets. Okay, so MetaMask is now a Starknet wallet, and dApps can talk to Starknet through MetaMask. And so the way this works, it's very simple. If you're building a Starknet dApp, you're probably already familiar with this. There's a library called Get Starknet. It's the recommended way for Starknet dApps to connect to Starknet wallets. And if you update to the latest version, you can actually add MetaMask as one of those options. So I have this URL. It takes you to the documentation. It's just go.metamask.io/use Starknet, and it'll take you to the documentation. And it's really cool because it's the first time that we've had documentation for like non-EVM networks. So it's in our wallet documentation, and the first one that we have is Starknet, and it basically walks you through the library and how to integrate it with your dApp, and then the methods. So it actually has a tutorial that explains how you can add this to your dApp. So we have sample code and everything. We walk you through the entire experience, and we make it very, very simple. And so the other cool thing is I have an example of this, so I'm also going to demo this. So there's a dApp called Starkgate, and Starkgate is the official bridge that allows you to bridge from Ethereum mainnet to Starknet. And the cool thing now is when you use this bridge, you can connect MetaMask on both sides, right? So I'm going to show you this. So I think you can see my screen. I'm going to connect wallets, and so it's going to get started. So it's going to say you're going to connect an Ethereum and a Starknet wallet, right? So you have two wallets you're going to connect. But in reality, I'm going to pick MetaMask for Ethereum, and then it says connect Starknet wallet, and I'm going to pick MetaMask again, but now it's MetaMask, the Fox logo with the little Starknet logo that you can see here. I don't know how well you can see that, but it's got this little tiny Starknet logo. So I'm going to click that again, and now it should, yeah. So, and because I've done it before, it walks me right through it. I have my Ethereum account and my Starknet account. Both are managed by MetaMask. And now you can see here, I have both of them connected to this dApp. So this is really cool because you're using Ethereum mainnet and then Starknet, which is like totally different contract language, address format, and everything. It actually uses smart contract accounts. It has totally different methods. Both of them are connected at the same time, all done just with MetaMask. I don't have to connect multiple wallets, and now I can easily bridge. And when funds land on Starknet in the same wallet with my Starknet account. So yeah, that was just a very quick demo to show you what that's like. And more dApps are going to be adding this over time, so you're going to see more dApps in the Starknet ecosystem have MetaMask as one of the options. And so I'm just going to close out by saying you can get the Starknet snap available from our directory, snaps.metamask.io. You'll see Starknet as one of the most popular snaps on there. That's where you go to add it to MetaMask. So once you add it to MetaMask, it'll set up a Starknet account for you, help you to deploy your smart contract account on Starknet, and then be able to make transactions, have tokens and everything, and explore the Starknet ecosystem. And then when you go to Dapps, you'll be able to connect and use those dApps with MetaMask. And there's plenty of other cool snaps that you can check out over there for lots of different use cases: security, identity, communication. Definitely go and explore the snaps directory, and you'll find lots of cool snaps for lots of different use cases.
Nice.
And the last thing I'll say is, if you want to build your own snaps, if you have developers here, if you're comfortable with JavaScript, it's actually very easy. You can learn how in our documentation. We have multiple tutorials. There's resources there. You can find a bunch of example snaps that you can follow, lots of cool things that you can do with it. You can build snaps that have custom interfaces inside of MetaMask, and they do notifications, and they show warnings if someone's about to make a malicious transaction. So there's lots of different things you can do with it. They're super fun to build. I would definitely recommend that everybody check it out. And yeah, that's the end of my presentation. Thank you.
Nice. No, thanks, Rishan. Any favorite like a vertical of snaps that you're using every day?
Oh, so I've been using the name resolution snaps. So we just launched this category of identity snaps that can add more naming services. So similar to like ENS, like you have like Montoya.eth. There's other services. You can have like Sandy.crypto, Martin.fio, things like that. So all these different naming services, they allow you to add, and some of them are like network specific. So there's like one on Arbitrum that's like .arb, right? So now you can add these naming services. I built one that adds like a Farcaster name, so I can send like, just type in like a Farcaster name, and then it'll find their address, and I can just use that. So much better than like having to type in like these long, weird, like, strings of letters and numbers, right? It's just so much better than having to do that.
That's cool. And by the way, I love when people are writing or asking question in the chat. We have one question on the private key storing, like so basically are non-EVM private key stored in the Snap storage, or how does it work?
Yeah, so the way that it works is that the snap, if you have a snap that does like Solana, right? It's able to derive Solana accounts, and it stores them in the snap. So it's able to store those private keys in the snap. But The snaps are audited, and it's not something that developer has access to that information. But essentially, they are full-blown wallets that exist inside of MetaMask that have the ability to like sign, like do signatures, transactions, things like that with those accounts.
Nice. Awesome. Awesome. Okay, sounds good. Yeah, thanks so much, Christian. I think it's always like a big pleasure to have you like on these calls. And yeah, let's keep building. I'm definitely excited about also the future of Snaps and how builders are interacting with Snaps. But yeah, let's keep moving. Thanks,
This is
Christian. And I hope you
amazing also.
use this.
Yeah, this is also amazing because as a builder, when I first started to explore Starknet, I had to install different wallet like Argent and like write Chiron to test that. Now I can just have the snap and just do it all on MetaMask. So this
Yeah,
is
that's really
truly
cool.
amazing.
Yeah, it's really
Yeah,
cool. I think
that's
like bridging non-EVM compatibility plus like this multi-chain approach is definitely give more instrument also like to users to kind of like you interact with their life on chain.
yep.
Um, awesome, awesome,
Yeah.
awesome. Okay, cool, awesome.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Rishan. I will not talk you. I will also like mention what's happening. So our next speaker will be Jamil. We're inviting him for on stage. Let me untoggle Christian. How is going, Jamil? I hope I pronounce it correctly, by the way.
Yeah, it's J Mill. Hey, what's up, y'all?
Nice, nice, nice. It's a big pleasure to have you here. Like, love the what you guys feel during Chlana. So, do you want to share your screen and please introduce yourself? We have also like your calling around. I don't know if she want to join Lucy, but you can you can let me know.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so just a quick intro. So yeah, I'm J Mill. And then I was on a hackathon team with Lucy, who was also on the call, and then our friend Yu Yang, who is not on the call. So it was three of us, and we were at Edge Lana, which is like one of the pop-up cities in Chiang Mai. They had a hackathon in the last week. And yeah, we participated in that. And the project we built using the MetaMask delegation toolkit. So that
Nice.
was
That's
our
super exciting. How
MetaMask
was the experience?
connection there. It was good. I mean, the hackathon itself was really fun. It was really good energy. It was kind of like a week long hackathon, so it was a little like more
Nice,
relaxed pace. So pretty
nice.
nice. And yeah,
Yeah,
the MetaMask team was there. I worked with Jeff some. Jeff was super helpful,
yeah.
and yeah, just yeah, really good experience all around.
Nice, nice, nice. Do you want to quickly share your screen, like showing us through the demo,
Yep.
or how do you want to do it? Awesome, awesome.
Yeah. I'll share screen. So
Nice. Yeah, I just
yep.
want to say that all the experience around Atlanta was really like, being like in a longer, like, a hacker house slash hackathon. I think it's also give more kind of like less pressure to like devs, but also like more time to kind of like understand what they want to build, more network and more support from like from our side too. I think that's pretty cool. Oh, nice. Love the
Yep.
design.
So this is our project. So we built an app called Who Up, which is it's sort of trying to solve two problems. One is that it's trying to reprogram your doom scrolling. So we were a bunch of us were trying to be more mindful about our phone usage while we were at Edge Lana, and we were thinking about like how can you replace the urge to like scroll your social media with doing something else. So that was one motivation, and then we also wanted to build an app that lets you do like keep up and with your friends but not have to like schedule time to talk to your friends because that feels like too formal. And so we built an app that's like, okay, I'm bored, I'm in a quiet moment. So instead of scrolling my phone, I'm gonna click this rock to go to my Zen garden. That's gonna replace my scrolling trigger. And then I'm gonna use this monolith to broadcast to my friends that I'm available to talk
So cool.
and then send that off. And then that would send a notification out to my friends in the app that I'm available for a chat. And so it's small scale social media. This is an app where you're not supposed to have 800 friends. You're supposed to have eight, so it's, really sort of like about close knit social media. And then these rocks here represent your friends. And then, if you don't want to talk or if nobody's picking up, then you can also get a prophecy from the monolith. So number 7 will be very important to you for the next 3 hours. So I can claim that. And then I can also do some like daily reflection. So just like a little like journaling, whatever, save that. And then everything you do in the app gets reflected as these like alien plants that are memories. And then what we wanted to have a Web3 component to this, but we wanted, this is built as a progressive web app. And we wanted, like, basically we wanted Web3 to be invisible until somebody was like attached enough or invested enough that they wanted objects on chain. And that's where the MetaMask delegation framework came in for us. We sort of learned about the progressive security model of the MetaMask delegation toolkit, where what's happening here is, there's a contract, and then there's a delegator address that's sort of like the central bank of the app, and then it's creating these claims using the delegation framework that says, like, so I, as this logged in user, every time I'm making a thing, I get a claim to actually claim it on, as an on-chain object when I want to. And then the cool part about this is, like, nobody has to pay for anything or like pay any gas for anything until, somebody's actually attached enough to their objects that they want to claim them. And then also at that point, we can use like gas sponsorship. So, we can just make this a really nice onboarding experience for people who aren't, crypto native. And also, if people don't want to use the crypto component of this app or the Web3 component of this app, then we could just keep it totally invisible. So that was more or less how, like, the problem we solved with the MetaMask
Nice.
delegation framework. And yeah, just to like look at the code a little bit, it's this is fortunately, I got a lot of really good help from the MetaMask team on this. What I ended up doing is, like, there's this caveat framework in the, like, as I can show the MetaMask delegation framework, right? That's like a question for the moderators.
Is it? Yeah, I see your code. Is it delegation toolkit side?
Yeah. So
nice.
what I ended up doing, so there's this like caveat system, and none of the existing caveats worked for what I was trying to do. But Jeff helped me through this, that you can also just make your own like execution out of like raw call data.
Nice.
So that's what we ended up doing for the contracts we had. And then it's just like, for now, it's like some simple like third web contracts deployed on Linnea, like a Linnea testnet. And then we basically just, this sort of represents a claim on, this object that user can eventually create a wallet and get eventually if they want. So that's what we were doing. And yeah,
Nice.
that's basically our project.
So it's like, I really like also how delegation toolkit structuring, like the delegation side with caveats, right? I think it's very kind of like easy also to implement.
I have a question about the app. I saw that you added daily reflections. So are they stored on chain, or, like, let's say I want to view my yesterday's reflection? Is it possible?
So it's not stored on chain yet. So basically what ends up going on chain is like these like alien plant objects. And we actually, in the hackathon, we didn't get as far as like doing a custom 721 contract with, like, the alien plant, like a pointer to the visual. And these are like programmatically generated with 3JS. So you need like a pointer to the visual plus, like, whatever's stored in these memory objects. At the hackathon, we only got as far as like implementing a simple, like, stock ERC20. But going forward, as we build out this app, we would, we didn't have time to like write the 721 contract for these sort of unique tokens. But going forward, we would use the delegation framework on top of the 721 contract instead of like sort of a dummy ERC20 contract. So yeah, nothing's stored on chain right now. It's like, it's using a Supabase backend.
Nice. So what's kind of like, you touched already, but what's kind of the next steps? How you guys keep building?
So one thing we did, we built this as a progressive web app for sort of speed purposes during the hackathon. But if we continue this project, one thing we're probably going to do is start over building it as a native app, maybe using React Native or something like that, because a lot of the functionality we wanted, like push notifications and video calling and, these sort of beyond the hackathon features are like a little more difficult with PWA. So we figure people using this would be invested enough to install an app. So that would be one thing we do. And then, yeah, just like generally cleaning up the storage code and then writing this sort of custom 721 contract to represent these generative 3D objects.
Nice, nice. And what is kind of like the recommendation? And this is like my last question, like recommendation to kind of like new developers coming and kind of like, use the delegation toolkit to build like
Mhm.
other like delegation use case, like any kind of like lesson learned out there that you say, because normally people have what, 48 hours to hack. I think at
Mhm.
Jelana, the cool thing is that we had more time, so more support. But
Mhm.
any lesson learned there you want to share to kind of other fellow developers?
Yeah, I would just like, it took me a minute to understand the delegation toolkit. And like, I guess I always have like a problem with like delegator delegation language. It's just like not sure to me like who's doing what.
Yes.
But how I kind of wrapped my head around it was that like I would reach for the delegation toolkit if I were trying to like if you want to claim on like a future claim on something, or you want someone to be able to do something on behalf of someone else.
Yeah.
So future claim on something is this sort of like invisible progressive onboarding for us
Yeah.
in this app. But then we also like, the Propel team was sort of the MetaMask Propel team was debuting that app at Edgelana
Yeah.
also. And that had a cool feature of like, you could, say somebody wanted to like boost an event, but, wasn't crypto native, didn't hold USDC on the required
Yeah.
chain, whatever, that
Yeah.
somebody else could create a claim, sponsor them, and that used the MetaMask delegation toolkit also. So it's like acting on behalf of someone else or doing this kind of like progressive onboarding, like you can
Yeah.
claim it when you want to type of thing. It's like that's what I would reach for a MetaMask delegation.
Nice, nice. That's super cool. Awesome, awesome. Yeah, there is a lot of like works to do. I think I was excited also like, to see all the kind of like the energy around like delegation toolkit. Like when Dan did the workshop on delegation toolkit, like was really cool. Also like to see like the amount of use case that you can actually build with the caveats. Like not just from building your own smart accounts, but also like use case around social fi, DeFi loans, like even credit scoring, or even like light wallets use case, right? Building kind of a delegation or guardian recovery with delegating like accounts. That's actually super cool. Oh,
Hmm.
awesome. Jamil, thank you so much. Thank you so much
For
also like
sure.
Lucy on the background. And yeah, I'm looking forward. I don't know if you guys will join like in Denver or something like that, but we will start, and that's something that we will announce soon, but we will start also something called MetaMask Dev Cook-Off is basically like monthly virtual hackathon, and Delegation Toolkit will also be part of kind of like the game. We want to really like push like everything around like MetaMask SDK, so adapter and multi-chain API and Delegation Toolkit. So like if you think about also other like use case or even extension of what you're building right now, like on top of like the and extending with caveats, I think that's an amazing way to build further this. Thank you so
Cool.
much. Awesome.
For sure.
Looking
Thank
forward
you.
to next. Awesome. Thanks, Jamil. Thanks, Lucy. See you guys later. Okay, okay, cool. So let's continue. Are you excited? How is Sushmita going? Are you learning? I'm learning tons.
Yeah, I'm
Uh,
learning a lot. Like I learned so much use case from the delegation toolkit and like the project that was showcasing.
Yeah,
So exciting.
we had even like during East Global Bangkok, like one team that I think was doing access requested, right? Request accesses and denying accesses and revoking accesses using delegations toolkit and was deployed on Linea. Basically, you can actually like delegate the rights to revoke access to other like accounts, and it was actually super interesting because I think a lot of people never know that you can revoke access to Dapps, and all the time like you just continuing to connect, and
Yeah.
that's also like a source of like so I always a recommendation that I'm having always to everyone is try always revoke access to dApps after you're kind of you're finishing. You can go also on setting on the extension, and there is so many ways to kind of like maintain or let's say increase like the security side on that. And yeah, Meta House, exactly. Like one thing's like Propel. Like I think like Propel was really cool, and this is a shout out to the all the delegation toolkit, Omnia, and the Stance team. Like they did an amazing job on Propel. I think like we need to definitely build a similar kind of like repo and use case during hacker houses, hackathon, or just ecosystem like events. I think this is a great way to really make people like with engagement like focus. I even thought about Zoo ZooConnect or like the Zuzalu app, right? That you are able to actually delegate like rights for specific access. But the first time I got really fascinated about delegation toolkit was back in Brussels. That we had this called Red Balloon Challenge, and we literally like you had to basically discover all the red balloons while ECC was happening. But the cool thing is that you could delegate. For example, I'm delegating like to you, Sushmita, to go to check some other red balloon in the city, and automatically, if I was winning that context. This is always caveat basically built in. I will basically like directly rewards split rewards with the single people that were helped me like participating in that, and it was actually super cool as a use case, because then I thought what other kind of like caveat use case you can actually build, and there is a tons. Right now when we're speaking about delegation, sometimes we think about smart accounts, but think about like DAO treasury management, rebalancing, DAO voting, even like social fi, like starting to attribute Farcaster delegation to other accounts. I remember now, in Twitter, you can delegate accounts rights, and a really
Yeah.
cool use case, for example, could be like, delegating like posting or reads to other people, but enforcing that with delegation toolkit.
We got a question. It says something like, "Can
Mhm.
you revoke access 24-hour time frame from unlimited time?" I think we have these caveats or like rules that we can set to a delegation toolkit. So maybe it's possible, I guess.
Mhm. Yeah, I think also you can define that in the smart contract that the raw access can happen automatically on the 24 hours range. I think that's totally possible. And also like there is already different kind of dApps. I know even like an ecosystem like a few cool like team of developers build like this revoke snap, and you can actually like build this involved in that. But I think there are different ways. I think also using delegation toolkit is a good way to implement and revoking access. And we can actually share in the chat or after the call the GitHub repo of the team that built this revoke access dApp with delegation toolkit during ETH Global Bangkok. I think that's also like a great way to start
That
that you
would be
can actually check.
amazing.
Okay, cool. I think like we're getting there on time. We're super excited now. Like, I think for now, MetaMask cards, everybody heard about this. We're spinning out different new countries. Like, I think there is a bunch of viral videos that went out, like, how to spend and using the MetaMask card. But I mean, without further ado, I want to invite Daniel on the community call house. Welcome, Daniel. It's such a pleasure to have you. And how are you, Daniel? How are you? Good. Did you finish traveling for the year, or you're always on the
I
ground?
hope. I don't know. I don't know yet. I hope so. I'm back from
Nice,
Bangkok.
nice, nice, nice. How was your experience in Bangkok?
Absolutely wonderful DevCon as always. I wasn't at the Dev Connect in Istanbul. I had a conflict, so it was my first since Bogota, and it's
Oh
the
yeah.
mecca. It's everybody. It feels great. It's cool that everyone's at the main conference so much, right? There's not the side events. Everyone's really focused and working together, and just the
Nice.
range of people you get to meet. Always super fun for me.
Nice, nice, nice. I think a lot of like good builder discussions, a lot of like good people enter DEF CON with really like even like from the BitsDApp perspective, like you really enter to wanna create value around the ecosystem. And I think like a lot of like good connection happened, a lot of even good hackathon build submissions that we had, and we encountered so many good devs. And but I mean, let's talk about MetaMask cards. So you wanna give us like a quick introduction? Feel free to introduce yourself first, and what is MetaMask card for the people that never heard about it?
Cool. I actually worked that into the slides. You want me to just share them, and I'll do
Oh
it all?
yes, of
Let's do it all.
course.
And I'm quick. It looks like a lot of
Mhm.
slides, but I'm from New York. I talk fast. So tell me if you can see my screen. Can everyone
We
see
can
it
see
now?
your screen. Perfect.
Excellent. Cool. So MetaMask card, where Web3 meets Web0, aka real life. I like to think of it like that. Everyone talks about Web2, but actually payments, lending, spending, saving, these things actually exist since Mesopotamia. So it's not just meeting Web2, it's meeting people in real life. If you want to contact me, there's my Twitter and Farcaster. If you're remotely involved in Web3, crypto, blockchain, digital assets, whatever you want to call it, if you look my name up on LinkedIn, Daniel Lynch, you'll find me there as well. And there may be a call to action for a few people here too. I saw Rosendo Vargas from Colombia mentioned in the chat. Hit me up. Que pues. I may have a trial for you that you'd be quite excited to participate in. Feel free to message me on one of those platforms. So really quickly, just a little contextualize the card. Like the 2025 cycle, prices are going up. Everyone's happy, but are we winning? So I have a little bit of an exercise, maybe a mental exercise for folks here when we think about, is blockchain being adopted? So what are the two most proven use cases in blockchain that no one can say anymore, that are not mainstream, that are not real, that are not heavily adopted? It's payments and lending, right? People have been paying with Bitcoin since, probably 2011, 2012, like real payments, not just, the early folks. People buying stuff, people sending remittances. And then with the arrival of Ethereum, stablecoins, L2s, we've seen it really explode in remittances, corporate payments, merchant acceptance, etc. Lending as well, I would say, is totally verified now as an absolutely proven use case. Aave now has more AUM than the majority of US banks. It's very easy to engage in lending in blockchain. So there may be some other use cases, real world asset tokenization, a few other things popping up, but payments and lending are indisputable, right? So the next question is, what are the two most fundamental financial applications since ancient Mesopotamia? You guessed it, it's payments and lending, right? Payments and lending have been around forever in every society. They're not just features of capitalism like you might think. They existed in Mesopotamia. That's feudalism. They exist in the colonial mercantilist period. They exist under social market socialism in Yugoslavia. They exist in the communist Soviet Union. They exist in mixed economies like we have today. As long as there's 4 or 5 humans, they're doing payments and lending. So why, I may ask, if we have L2s, if we have stable coins, if we have MPC, if we have all these building blocks that we need, why aren't 3 or 4 billion people doing payments and lending on the blockchain today? And I think it's because we made a little bit of a failure. Namely, every industry has like supply chain, distribution, and manufacturing, right? You manufacture a car, it goes through a supply chain that gets sold on a lot. They manufacture lipstick, it goes through a supply chain, and then it gets sold at a retail location. The manufacturing and distribution of financial services are kind of interesting. Fintechs are really good at distribution, but they use the old bank rails, right? So they have better UX. Sometimes the onboarding's easier. Sometimes a little bit more inclusion, but they're still using the old bank rails. Everything that we're doing in DeFi, we've revolutionized the manufacturing of financial services, but they're not really that easy to use always, or understanding how that they can tie to the real world. So what are we doing about it? The MetaMask card, you asked before, Francesco, what is it? Well, I'm gonna tell you what it's not. It's not a prepaid card, right? It's not a card, it's not a top-up card. So essentially there you're selling your crypto to move your balance onto like a fiat balance on a debit card or a top-up card. It's not a credit card with crypto rewards where you're spending a revolving credit line and maybe getting a little ETH back. It's not a custodial card. You're not spending from a fintech or an exchange, and it's not like an on-chain payment account. It is a real debit card. So real debit card, you can spend funds directly from your MetaMask. Critically, you cannot spend them. So I make this example. I've got 300 USDC on a Friday. I call Francesco. I go, hey, man, you want to go have some drinks? He says, no, man, I just left New York. I had to go back to Switzerland. I go, oh, that's too bad. Okay. I call up my wife. I say, do you want to go out for dinner tonight? She says, no, I'm stuck at work doing TPS reports. Well, then I go home. I sit on my couch. I turn on Jerry Maguire, start watching a movie on Netflix. I open my phone, get my MetaMask open, and I can put that 300 USDC into Aave or Beefy or Mendy or Compound because it's completely fungible. So think of it like a debit account. You can spend or not spend your funds as you wish, right? And what this lets us do is essentially deconstruct personal banking so that people can create their own personal banking experience that they own. But what is personal banking, right? Saving, spending, lending, credit, and rewards. These are the components of the things you get out of your financial services. So saving, I need a place to save my money. Spending, I want to spend the money that I've saved. Lending, I want to get interest on my savings. Credit, I want to take out loans on my savings. And rewards, I want rewards for my spending, lending, or savings. So how can we build this better with DeFi? And this is a great point for all the devs on the call, thinking about how you can work with the card. Saving, obviously, we are going to work with all kinds of different types of stablecoin providers. We are going to enable the spending of different crypto assets. Today, it's USDC, USDT, and wrapped ETH. We will do probably 10 more soon. We will also allow for like the LP tokens you get when you deposit into a DeFi protocol. So hopefully you think about A tokens, C tokens, things like that. You will be able to get a yield-bearing token by lending into a DeFi protocol. And then you will continue to earn that yield until the moment that you spend it. So really, we want to have a wide variety of spendables that you can spend almost anything in your MetaMask. Or saving, rather. Spending, I want to spend anywhere that MasterCard's accepted. We've already worked that out. You go out with your card, you tap, you can pay directly out of your MetaMask. Now, lending and credit are interesting because they're two sides of the same token, right? an advanced user can do this today. I can go to Aave or Beefy. I can loan the money, the earning that I'm getting, I can spend with the card. But we want to build something a little bit better. And this is important for the devs. Think about this, that an EOA attached to a card is Sybil resistant. You can only have as many cards as you have passports, so no one's farming you. It's KYC'd, and it also has a spending history, so you can target it based on the amount of spending. Perhaps you want to offer someone like that preferential rewards for engaging in your platform. On the other token, the same applies to credit. It's a Sybil-resistant KYC account with a spending history, and this user probably deserves a better experience. So we want to work with DeFi protocols to work out ways that we can have like under-collateralized loans or automatic repayment of loans or on-chain credit history. So the last component would be rewards, and we think via partnerships with stables, foundations, different product teams, and the kind of traditional rewards you get in like cash back at different retailers, we can create a really informative rewards program. And this really is going to take collaboration with the community. If I want to have a Daniel Bank, a Francesco Bank, a Catalina Bank that has savings, spending, lending, credit, and rewards, we want to work with you together. So what's now? What's next? All right, this is what the card is, where we're going. I told you a little bit, but please don't spread this outside of this call. This is just for our MetaMask dev community. I just want to give you all, because you're such an essential part of our ecosystem and community, a little bit of a preview of what's next. So we've been live in the EU and UK since late August. So if you're there, please go try out the card. A little surprise to some people maybe that we've been live in Switzerland since September. We did not do any announcement about it. We just facilitated users in Switzerland who go to portfolio.metamask.io/card in Switzerland to have the chance to actually sign up for the card. But we're being a little bit more vocal about it now. So if you're Swiss, like Francesco, go ahead and check it out. This is where I'm getting a little bit more sneak preview-ish. We will very shortly be launching to 60% of people in Latin America, and ideally over the next year to everyone in Latin America. If you are in this region, perhaps reach out to me. I can maybe make you part of the beta tester group, Rosendo. That's why I called you out. If you reach out to me on LinkedIn, I can talk to you about maybe helping us beta test. And then a little differently, LATAM, we will be fully launching in the countries we launch in. We will shortly do a limited trial in the US and the PR, Puerto Rico, with a capped number of users. So very excited for this geographical expansion, but as well for what we can do with the community to build this entire Ubank experience for people. So work with us. Number one, try out the MetaMask card. That's portfolio.metamask.io/card. If the card's available in your region, you can sign up in that moment. If it's not, you'll join a waitlist and we will alert you the second it is available. But again, if you think about the kind of projects that we really want to work with, we will do this expansion of spendable assets. So if you are working at a foundation, if you are creating an algorithmic stablecoin, if you are launching a stablecoin in a certain geo, we would love to work with you. DeFi integration, super key. Credit and lending. We want to find ways to offer enhanced experiences to these users. Rewards. Of course, if you're working in a project and you want to find a way of distributing rewards to folks who are Sybil resistant, KYC'd, and you have some idea of their spend, love to work with you. And then one I didn't mention so much is identity management. We will probably be implementing shortly an idea of like an identity marketplace where folks who use the card because they've already KYC'd can opt into existing identity frameworks, be they for the more like bank-like traditional TradFi things. So, there's going to be this Mika thing where you have to have a crypto credential in order to send funds from your exchange to your self-custodial wallet. That could be one kind, but another kind could be the kind of like POH attestations we do when we want to participate in an initiative that doesn't want to be farmed, right? So identity can mean multiple things depending on where you're exerting that identity, but we definitely want to work with folks working in identity as well. So expansion of spendables, DeFi integrations, rewards, identity, and of course, please try it out. You can get a little bit of feedback to us. You can get an idea of ways to build around this. And with that, I just want to say thank you.
Daniel, awesome. Like, I think in the 10 minutes you gave so much information. I actually want to ask you, I mean, you kind of like hyped me up on the LATAM side, but there are some people saying, okay, so rollout, like what are kind of like those emerging market? Are we ready to go in? But one thing that I always ask myself, is there like a way that if I can like refer some cool other like people, is there like some mechanism on the card side for me spending? Because today the process is what? I'm basically like putting some like USDC on Linea, right? And then I can spend it, right? How is the process and how does it work? This kind of like, spreading the words to my friends.
Yeah, surely. So For those in the dev call, I can say I wouldn't say it's the entire public, but we basically go live in a market, and when we go live, pretty much anybody can sign up. It'll be live that day. Like we went live in August. Any French person, any German, any Irish person could sign up out of Europe that day. Normally, before that, we do run a beta. So I will say, just for the folks here, we are kind of doing a beta around Colombia, Brazil, and Mexico. And if you're in one of those geos, and I gave you my details before to reach out. If you want to reach out on LinkedIn or Twitter, reach out to me because we would love your feedback. You can be like an early access user and try it out before our real launch. And US, I'll know soon. US is not a real launch. It's just a trial. So we'll be capped. It's not like the other countries going live, but it'll be a pretty decently high cap. So I think if they reach out to us, if they reach out to you, Francesca, you can direct them to me. I keep a sheet where we work with the team to help with these early beta access users. But on the other hand, we are working pretty aggressively to expand. I mean, first of all, we launched a real debit card, not a top up or a prepaid like others have. But although we just launched in August, we've already expanded. We're already expanding as of like say next month into more countries that some of the top up and prepaid cards have had for like 2 years. So it's very important to us that we cover every geo, and we're working very diligently. It's not all in our hands. It's a real card. It has to have like an issuing bank. It works on chain because your funds sweep to like a treasury account, but the issuing bank has to pay out the fiat at the point of sale. And we do have to get those in every geo. So just know that we're working diligently so we can get it in the hands of everybody globally. Yeah.
What is question from Clara? Like, are the cards virtual and physical? Normally, I'm using it, but what's the answer? The official one?
Today, if you apply, the KYC is pretty easy. If you already have funds on Linea, you can delegate them to spend. You can get this all done in like 5 minutes. You're issued a virtual card. It looks pretty cool. Let me see if I can actually show it to you. For those of you in Europe, you may have seen it already. We have a cool virtual design that our awesome virtual team has done, our awesome design team has done right there. We are ideating how to create a cool physical metal card now, and we should have more feedback on that about when we can launch that for next year.
Nice. Okay, sounds good. Awesome. So thank you so much, Daniel. I think like we will follow up a bunch of information. I think you gave us a lot of like cool alphas, and I think also I'm definitely looking forward in the year like how spreading the word, how making like having people even spending together, even splitting bills, all these kind of things. I think are super use case that I'm definitely looking forward, and I'm excited also to see rollout in obviously like I'm a big fan of like Nubank and like Brazil in general, like, so I'm definitely like looking forward to that. But yeah, I'm the future is bright, let's say that. Awesome. Thank you so much, Daniel.
Thank you all so much.
Awesome. Okay, cool. I think we are almost like on time. Let's get things ongoing. So we will invite now Richard. So a big part of what Christian mentioned before was snaps, right? And I think one of the best part here is that we have a lot of like non-EVM snap, and I think one of the most interesting like non-EVM snap out there is actually the Cardano snap. And Richard, welcome. And is with great pleasure. It's great to have you here. You want to quickly introduce yourself?
Sure. Thank you for being there. So I'm Richard. I'm a software developer at NuFi, which is also a multi-crypto wallet, and I'm happy to introduce you to some new interoperability snap. So
nice.
Yeah. So I guess I can share my screen.
Please, yeah. Go for it.
Okay. So here we go. Hope you see it. Let me know if you don't. If you don't, so yeah. So I was speaking about the Cardano wallet snap. The Cardano wallet is basically the name of a snap, and yeah. So you can find the snap, of course, in the MetaMask Snap Store, and it's one from the interoperability category. So until now, it wasn't possible for MetaMask users to also use their wallet for Cardano, which basically changed with the creation of the snap. And it might be interesting for you if you saw the latest movements in price, especially these days. So, but how you actually use it? Well, so you can use the MetaMask Cardano wallet snap alongside the NuFi wallet. And if you navigate to wallet.nu.fi as a new user, say, you would see this onboarding screen, and you have there a MetaMask button. If you click the button, what happens if you haven't really installed a snap previously? A small MetaMask window pops, and you are basically asked to install it. And after a few clicks, you're done. You're basically in a NuFi wallet. You can
Nice.
do anything that you would expect for a wallet to do. You can receive or send your funds. You can manage your Cardano tokens, NFTs. You can stake your Cardano or swap or buy a new funds. Though
That's
when
super
it
cool.
comes to
So Richard, quick
thanks.
question, because we had before, sorry, Richard, we had a question to Christian. I will ask you the same question. Like, how is the private key are handled on the Cardano side, and on the Snap side? Where
Yeah,
those private keys are stored?
thanks for a question. I will try to answer with this slide and also a bit later.
I'm prepared.
So let's say that user wants to send some funds to say another wallet or anywhere else or between accounts. So everything user manages within the NuFi interface, but when it comes to actual signing, the MetaMask window again appears, and that's because all the private keys or all your keys are managed by the Snap. So our application doesn't ever see your private key. It doesn't ever leave the Snap. It kind of lives in a Snap, and you just, as a user, are able to use it basically. So if you try to sign something, what the Snap does, it powers the transactions and shows you all the details. So even if you wouldn't like to trust the application itself, you can trust the Snap and you know what you are signing. Now, when it comes to Dapps, you can also use the Snap for a Cardano Dapps. So I have there one of the Dapps, it's called Wi-Fi. And when a user comes there and wants to connect with a MetaMask, well, the Dapp shows there some UI for it, but once the user clicks it, a so-called, we call it a NuFi widget, appears. You can see it in the bottom left corner. And now this is the case where you don't have the MetaMask Snap installed, the Cardano wallet. So say this is a new user, you wasn't even in the dashboard that you saw previously. You just come here, you want to use your MetaMask, you can install the Snap again with a few clicks, and you are basically in. And this is how it would look like for you if you already had some funds. So you see like a simplified wallet view. You can receive your funds, you can exchange them, sort of. You could also close or open this. And now say that the Dapp wants to sign something. Yeah, you want to swap something, depends. So what happens first, we kind of showcase you some transaction details within this widget. But again, when it comes to signing, we never have your keys. So again, a MetaMask window is displayed with the details. The transaction is parsed within the MetaMask Snap, and you have to, in order to kind of really sign, you have to approve it in your MetaMask, or you can deny it. And basically, this widget was also integrated into quite some Cardano apps, and we are looking forward to be integrated by more. So now back to your questions, Francesco. So what's this Cardano wallet Snap, and what are the responsibilities? Because we saw some application, we saw some apps with some widget, and we saw this MetaMask kind of window popping up. And well, what the actual Snap does, it's kind of designed as a hardware wallet would be. So it has just three responsibilities. It's deriving your accounts, it's signing the transactions, and it's parsing the transactions. And of course, the private keys are never, ever leaving the MetaMask Snap. And if we wanted to see in a kind of bigger picture, so what we have is the application that we saw, which kind of integrates with the MetaMask Snap. We saw the widget, which also integrates with the MetaMask Snap. By the way, what's real nice is that you can just click this icon in the widget, and you are automatically like redirected to this wallet and automatically logged in. But for the app to integrate this, the situation differs from standard Chrome extensions like MetaMask, for example, because if users have these extensions, well, they can inject whatever codes to whatever page, and basically our wallet is discoverable there. For us, the situation is a bit different, as we kind of use a web wallet for this. So we built a small Dapp SDK, which the developers can integrate to their pages, and then it allows them to inject this widget. And once the widget is injected to their pages, the users can basically use the Snap. So basically, that's it. And I would also like to share some maybe challenges, maybe interested to some developers like that we faced during the implementation of the Snap. And well, the main challenge was just discovering the Cardano account within the Snap itself, because there's a get BIP32 entropy function for that, which also many other snaps could use. Though the problem was that the accounts that were discovered from this function differed from the accounts that the standard Cardano wallets would use. And that's because the derivation for Cardano is slightly specific. So what we needed to do, and why that was an issue for us in the first place, is that if a users, say, extracted the recovery key from MetaMask and wanted to just recover in some other Cardano wallet just for the sake of this Cardano account, they wouldn't get the same accounts, and that's it's quite unfortunate. So we contributed to one of the MetaMask repositories, which is called the key tree, and we implemented a new kind of derivation curve. And with this, we are kind of able to derive the same accounts as other Cardano wallets in the market would be, which is great because users can now kind of be swapping these wallets and don't have to be afraid that if whatever, they could just change and be sure that they can discover their accounts anywhere. And yeah, of course, this blocked the development for quite some time for us, but it's kind of understandable because we needed to have some fairly sensitive and crypto-critical operations released and needed to wait for that. Though this is how what actually changed from developers' perspective. I want to avoid kind of showing you all the code and stuff because, well, this might be a bit too much, but this arrow showcases you like a new parameter which you can now add, which wasn't there before. And using this parameter, you can derive as a developer a same accounts for Cardano as some other wallets would do. Besides that, we only had, I would call, some challenges or decisions to make. And one was that how do we approach parsing tokens, not really the native ADA token, but other Cardano tokens within a Snap. And we opted for including a hard-coded token list within the Snap itself, within the code itself, and just updating it time to time. And this, of course, has a disadvantage in terms of maintenance, but on the other hand, it's way more secure because some external sources might get, say, hacked or whatever. And this is, again, more analogous to how a hardware wallet would approach it. So we opted for this approach. Another challenge that we faced from developers' perspective was how to design this SDK, because we needed to combine some protocol called ZIP30. It doesn't really matter what it's called, but basically the protocol that like a Chrome extension dApps on Cardano use in order to work with the dApps. But we also needed to add some unique methods, like for a visibility control, so users can kind of say expand or hide the widget and do some other things. And in the end, we kind of combined these two together, so we are somehow compatible with this protocol and also are allowing enriching the dApp experience with new methods which are specific to our widget. And finally, we also needed to somehow test this when developing it, because of course we do not really also have a dApp. So fortunately, we found some open sourced playground Cardano dApp for which we are really grateful. And maybe just some final thoughts on the development process for other developers if they're interested. We found the documentation, the MetaMask documentation, to be really solid. And time to time, we had some questions for which we needed answers, or we weren't sure about the usage of some tools. And we really got a great support from the team. So just an advice for any developer, like don't be afraid to reach the MetaMask team if you need some help. I guess they will really help you and in time. And maybe some other advice for some developers: if you are creating a similar kind of Snap, like interoperability Snap, first try prototyping the Snap itself. Like forget about the other ecosystem, because it may happen to you, as we had this issue, that maybe some derivation will differ, or maybe you want to run some library within the Snap itself, but this is the different environment than in the browser, and it may not work. So you just want to prototype that as fast as possible. Once it works for you, you're fine. You can polish it, you can put it on audit, you can develop the other ecosystem as you go. Just prototype first and prototype Snap explicitly. And of course, if you're like in this interoperability sections of Snap, if you design it as a hardware wallet and forget about anything else and implement it in these other apps, I guess you will be fine, and you will have easier time maintaining it, auditing it, and kind of thinking about Snap. And finally, if you want to give this a try, I highly advise you to take a look at the site called adventure.guest. Here you can try the MetaMask Snap, and you can also win some nice prizes. And it kind of runs until Christmas. So if you want to give this a try. And that's all from my side. And really, I'm grateful for you to giving me a chance to present this. And thank you guys. Thank you all.
Oh, Richard, I really love the fact that you also deep dive also technically on the Snap side, on the Cardano side. I really like this. Like there is also like quite some people like we have the Inca speaking. This is impressive. Like also like it's very interesting to see like a good way to try Cardano. I think a lot of like people also will try it out. I think it's actually interesting. One question that I see from Nikash, does exchange support ETH ADA swaps? I mean, in theory, you can just have the Cardano Snap, the Cardano wallet, and you can run normally your swaps, right?
So about swaps, I mean, you can currently what you could swap these in our app, but when you use the MetaMask Snap and you log in with MetaMask Snap, we have the exchange, but the wallet will only at the time being allow you to work with Cardano. So the other blockchains, as far as I know, aren't really available there, but you can still kind of swap these. If you wanted to kind of work both with Ethereum and ADA within a same wallet, and you could just use maybe NumFi, which has the support. But if you need more support, MetaMask might suit you better. But anyway, you could in the main app you could exchange it, but you wouldn't really have their ETH account. But if you exchange it to your MetaMask account, you could have both. Yeah, because
100%. Okay, sounds good. Any questions, Shushmita? I think it's super interesting.
No, this
Yeah.
is really amazing, and I cannot wait to try it out. This was really nice. Thank you for presenting that.
thanks a lot.
Okay, good. Thank you so much, Richard. And please send us also links that we can share also with the community later. I think a lot of people here has a question they want to see, even with the slides that you shared, like some of the links there, they're super useful. Okay, so
See you guys.
thanks, Richard. See you next. Okay, so let's get for so. I think we run different things. I think we are really on time. We need to finish up, but I just want to say we will also host the next community call in January. We have a bunch of like content also in the backlog. Remember, if you building something cool around SDK, the Relation Toolkit, or just you wanna explore or like just come and present. We are trying to be accessible all the time, right? So DM us, like reach out a message to the Fox. We're always like be there trying to get people excited and really share what builders are building, right? As we mentioned also, like we're planning this like MetaMask Dev Cook-Off. This is really like a virtual monthly like hackathon that you can basically like build or even like extend the functionality of what you're already doing. And I think this is just a great way to involve and get the attention from the ecosystem to build more. We have also like some small like feedbacks. I think one important part is that you can just comment or send us in the chat what topics you want to speak more next. But also we try to change the format all the time, right? We started with just product updates, then we started to invite cool like community and developers building cool stuff around the hackathons. Then we started also to invite also cool Dapps. They are actually like integrating all the products and building cool like functionality for all the users, right? And then also like we just want to bring people together. You saw with Daniel with the MetaMask card, it's really cool also to have these updates because a lot of people that are joining this call are from all over the world, right? And they want to see, okay, when this is coming next. And I think having an official update like that is also like on YouTube that you can share also with your friends is super important. Okay, sounds good. And this is just like some just feedbacks. And I think we kind of like answer everything. I don't know
Yeah.
what did you like the most about this call, Sushmita, today?
I think one of my best, I think the best part is the depth part. That I think I like the way how the dev that came over the call and presented their project,
Hmm.
and we could really dive and see the code. Also the Cardano, and also the card one, of course, because we
Nice.
got to know so many alphas from that.
That's super cool. And I think, like we are always combining those developer community calls with like this dev live coding session. I think the last one that we did was all about, like building from scratch a marketplace. And I think also, you see we're experimenting different things for all the developer and builders listening to us, like always reach out, right? We're already planning some of the next live coding session. I don't know, do we have already a topic, Sushmita? I still like we're brainstorming
Yeah,
things.
yeah, we already have a topic. I think on our next live coding session, we'll be let's see, let me give me a second. We'll be building like a decentralized voting tab on live.
Nice, nice. I really like the live part because like demo gods are not always with you. And the last time I remember, like in the call, we were debugging live in front of everyone. It was
Yeah.
really it's a cool experience, right? And it's a good way also to get and follow people. Even in the call, there were some people following the tutorial that we shared, and it's a great way to do that. Okay, sounds good. Awesome. Thanks everyone. Thanks so much, Shrita. Thanks everybody that is behind all this call, from operation to like commenting and responding to all the questions. And our doors are always open. Respond and DM us, and we are always trying to bring some spicy content for the next call. And I think that's it. Like anything else to add, Sushmita, or we can call it day.
There's nothing more to it. I would just say happy building. So yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, I love that. Happy building. So happy building, everyone. I hope to see you guys get some rest. Holidays are coming, but we know that during holidays, at least for me, like last year, we'll keep like building because you can get some rest and stay really like focused on a table. But for everybody that is hitting, Indian like the India Blockchain Week or just I think there is also the Play Blockchain Week. Make sure you're keep building, you're networking, and I see you guys. Well, next